sliver remains right now. Temperatures will drop 1 to 5 degrees today over what we saw yesterday, bringing us back into the 80s and 90s for the most part. But we still have high fire danger in the mountains and deserts. A red flag warning still in effect. Here to look at the red flag warning. The mountains and deserts all under this red flag warning today and tomorrow for the warm temperatures, gusty winds, and really dry conditions. Our relative humidities are in the teens right now out over toward the mountains and deserts. Also in the teens in Ramona and Alpine. Closer to the coastline, it's a different story. We have elevated dew points where you see the greens on your screen, so that's why relative humidities are much higher near the coast. Today's high temperatures, again, largely in the 80s and 90s. We will see some triple digits, though. 101 in Ramona, 102 in Lakeside and Alpine, 100 degrees in El Cajon. We'll get to 98 in Escondido, 97 in Poway, 90 out in Julian. Closer to the immediate coastline, temperatures largely in the upper 70s, dropping 1 to 3 degrees generally over what we saw yesterday, but will be 5 degrees cooler in Lakeside and 4 degrees cooler in El Cajon. The cooling trend underway today, really gonna feel the effects of this by the weekend. For the deserts, 113 today, but 105 by Saturday and 104 by Sunday. So the cooling trend at the coastline will be a little bit more subtle, but for our inland spots, as we're waking up to mainly clear skies this morning, it's going to be another hot day today, but temperatures are starting to cool. We're looking live from Palomar Mountain, where we have high fire danger. Mountains, deserts under a red flag warning out there today because it's going to be so warm, so dry and windy. We're going to be cooling things down slightly today, a little bit cooler into tomorrow and Friday as well, but we're still going to see plenty of triple-digit readings this afternoon well inland. Closer to the coastline, certainly more comfortable. 77 in Coronado and La Jolla. We'll hit 80 degrees in San Diego, but 100 out in El Cajon. We'll get to 100 also in Valley Center, 101 in Ramona, which will be a new record for today. Closer to the immediate coastline, temperatures though in the 70s. It'll be 90 in San Marcos and Rancho Bernardo, still pretty toasty there. In the 80s and 90s up through the mountains, and 111 out in Borrego. We are expecting wind gusts as strong as 35 miles per hour today in our mountain communities. So we are going to get close to records today. In Ramona, it looks like we'll tie a record. Alpine, we should break a previous record, but we're going to fall just short in Chula Vista, Poway, and El Cajon, missing those records by a degree or two. It's possible we could briefly get up and tie the records in places like Poway and Campo. We'll, of course, keep you posted on that as the day progresses. But we do have cooler weather on the way, thank goodness. We'll take a look at that weekend forecast coming up here in just a bit. First, let's get you caught up on traffic, though. With everyone, there's no discrimination. All right, well, let's take a look at our red flag warning in effect for the mountains and deserts today. Remains in effect today and tomorrow because it's going to be hot, dry, and windy in these locations with wind gusts as strong as 35 miles per hour. Our relative humidities right now are in the single digits and the teens out through the mountains and deserts, just bone dry in these locations. Compare that closer to the coastline where we still have relative humidities in the 90 percentile where we have elevated dew points. Today's high temperatures will be in the 70s at the coastline all the way to the triple digits through our inland spots. It'll be 102 in Lakeside and Alpine today, 101 in Ramona, 100 in El Cajon, but 75 in Del Mar, 79 in Encinitas, and 79 in Oceanside. The mountains in the 80s and 90s as well. Again, dry, warm, and gusty winds expected up to 35 miles per hour today. If you're headed to the coastline to try to beat the heat, we have fair conditions for you surfers. A beach hazard statement, though, remains in effect today all the way through the weekend as the surf starts to rise. Today, a southwest swell of 2 to 4 feet, occasionally getting higher than that, but the surf will be as high as 6 feet by the weekend. So your 7-day forecast, cooler weather today, slightly cooler weather still as forecast Friday and Saturday. Our best chance of thunderstorms will be Saturday, but it's still going to be very dry. So it looks like the rain is going to largely evaporate before it hits the ground, which means we could see dry lightning strikes from these storms. We'll, of course, keep you posted as it gets a little bit closer. All right, let's